Hello, and welcome to the Candidate Forum hosted by the League of Women Voters of DeKalb County in partnership with WNIJ. My name's Kate Williams. I'm with the League of Women Voters of Illinois, and I live in McHenry County, so I can't vote in this race. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that neither supports nor opposes candidates or parties for any office. The League's purpose is to promote active political responsibility through an informed and active participation in local government. Providing this forum allows the citizens to better be informed about the issues facing their community and to become better acquainted with the candidates running for the office. We're happy to provide this service. The League of Women Voters is not responsible, however, for verifying the accuracy of the statements that candidates make in this forum. Questions come from the League and from community members, and they've been collected by the forum. They've been screened for duplication, clarity, and appropriateness for office being discussed. The candidates have not been provided these questions before the forum. The candidates have agreed to some ground rules with no voice, image, or any other duplication that could be used in their candidate in any campaign or campaign advertising. This forum is among 5 candidates seeking the position for the DeKalb Park District. By participating in this forum, they've agreed to abide by the rules set forth in the forum. This race has 1 or more write-in candidates. This is important. To vote for a write-in candidate, you must bring the candidate's name with you, write it in the blank space, and fill in the oval. There are 5 candidates for 2 open seats. This forum is available on different WNIJ platforms, including Facebook Live. I've been asked to announce that WNIJ does reserve the right to mute commentators who don't follow WNIJ's social media policy. Each candidate will present a 1-minute introductory statement, the orders in alphabetical by last name. Then the questions will be asked by each candidate, and they'll have 1 minute to answer in alternating order. And then closing statements will also be 1 minute. An electronic timer is being used, and we do need to have the candidates strictly adhere to the time limits. Candidates, when the timer reaches 0, you certainly can finish your sentence, but then stop. So let us welcome our candidates. David Castro, Donna Johnson, Christopher Newquist, Brian Tobin, and Michael Cornbread Zazda. So candidates, you can unmute and turn your cameras on. All right, everybody. And let's make sure we've got our timer up. There, our timer's starting. All right, good. We'll start with opening statements. We'll start with you, David Castro. 1 minute opening statement.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Castro, and I am running as a write-in candidate for Commissioner of the DeKalb Park District. Big thank you to Northern Public Radio and the League of Women Voters for hosting this candidates forum. Without it, the opportunities to showcase candidates' ideas and debate are significantly limited. I am a chemist by training and currently work as a manager in an analytical chemistry lab. I have been living in DeKalb since 2005 and have been serving in various community roles for the past 10 years. Top among these are my current service as board president for 2 non-for-profit organizations. Those are the Elwood House Association and the DeKalb County Community Gardens. My initial interest in the district started with the ongoing collaboration between the Elwood House and the Park District. Today, I would like to represent citizens of DeKalb in answering a very, very fundamental question: what is the legacy of our generation to future generations? I believe that a decade of service has prepared me well to serve as a commissioner, and I'm asking the citizens of DeKalb for their support by writing in my name for this important position. Thank you very much.
Did something happen here? Kind of froze up. I can't hear anything. Can you hear me? Well, I'm assuming I should go ahead with my opening.
Yes, 1
statement.
minute opening statement, please.
Oh, there you are. Okay, we're back on. I have a helper here. I don't know how to Zoom. I haven't had to do it before. My name is Donna Johnson. I think a lot of people tonight might remember me as the last full-time elected city clerk that retired from the city. I had 27 years experience with the city as a deputy clerk, an alderman, and then the city clerk. With that, I had a great deal of experience working with budgets and government functions and, of course, meetings and how they're conducted and what the board's responsibilities are. I've been a lifelong, just about, resident of DeKalb. I was born and raised here and hope to spend the rest of my life here. I have fond memories of all of our parks, especially Hopkins Park. A lot of the things I remember aren't there anymore, but we did have a great time there. And I'm really concerned about the future of the swimming pool.
All right, thank you. It's a fast 1 minute. All right,
Okay, thank
now
you.
we'll go to Chris Newquist.
Thank you. As a lifelong resident of DeKalb, I've always wanted to give back and help the community grow and thrive. With your support, I believe I can serve the best interests of the community and the people of DeKalb. Growing up in this town, I've seen great things that the Park District is accomplishing. I played recreational sports as a child and later worked at Hayes Gym and Hopkins Pool as a lifeguard and swim instructor. During this time, I gained experience in organization and administrative duties. I have several goals that I'd like to achieve for the Park District. To accomplish this, I'd like to provide programs for all ages, explore new avenues to make sure that we are inclusive to everyone and bring more membership, engagement, and fun to the Park District. I want to engage the community at large in order to make sure it is a place for all of us to enjoy. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Brian?
Hi, my name is Brian Tobin. I am running for commissioner of the board. I have lived in DeKalb since the early 90s. I make my living in IT, working at a local school district. And I just want to make sure that the school board has good representation of the community. And that's it. Vote for me.
All right, thank you. Michael, 1 minute opening statement.
Hello, my name is Michael Zazada. A lot of people know me as Cornbread. I moved to DeKalb in 2007, where I went to school at NIU to study mathematics in order to teach, which I did for about 12 years, including at NIU for 9 years. I was a math instructor there. Currently, I am in IT as well, and I work for a government contractor. And I'd like to thank our hosts, and I'm here just to try to make our parks the best they can be for the community in DeKalb.
Good, thank you very much. All right, we'll start with Donna, the first question, and candidates, I'll repeat the question if you just give me the sign. What are the most pressing infrastructure needs of the Park District at this time? And how would you like to see the Park District manage those needs? Pressing infrastructure. And
Well, I think the thing that's in the news right now is the future of the swimming pool. I really think we need to keep the swimming pool, but the dollar amounts they've been talking about, I think are just out of our range. So I'm really concerned about looking at the budget, how the money is spent, and how we can maybe make some changes so that we can plan ahead and work on saving the pool.
All right, thank you. Chris, same question.
I do agree that there are some areas that the Park District could improve upon. There are definitely a lot of avenues to be able to explore what we can be able to do as far as infrastructure. Looking at previous budgets, finding out what the community is thinking, what they want, and what they desire in the future would be a big part of that. It's no use in spending funds for something that the community just isn't going to use. So making sure that we're reaching out to them for those kinds of particular questions and making sure that there isn't any missed revenue or something like that that we're just missing. I'd like to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible with any of the decisions as well, not jumping the gun.
Right, great, thank you. Brian, pressing infrastructure needs.
Sure, thank you. Certainly the one that's top of mind is this swimming pool. I do think there are needed renovations for the pool that are planned out. And I think we need to continue down that path. I don't think there's a need for a giant pool elsewhere. I think the pool where it's at is a great location for students in town to bike to, walk to. And beyond that, we have a lot of excellent parks and buildings throughout the park district that I think we just need to make sure we're maintaining properly. And then we continue to expand as needed, as there's a desire for whether it be more sporting facilities or more bike paths, and just continue to build upon the excellent infrastructure that we currently have.
All right, thank you. All right, Michael.
So since I've lived here, I have heard about renovating Hopkins Pool many times. I don't believe much has been done yet. It does feel like that is a pressing concern and something we should address. And I know it has been addressed somewhat up to this point. But moving forward with that seems like a very good pressing need that the community is interested in, and I'd like to support as well. And again, we don't want to go over budget with anything. So that's a big one. And yeah, that and the things that I've always heard about too are, of course, the golf course and keeping that managed correctly. And then, yeah, keeping our parks and trails good. So that's it.
Good, thank you. David.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. That's a great question that I think the first thing we need to do is to listen to the citizens of DeKalb. And we're not going to do that here in 1 minute, but I can refresh the memory of our viewers and the panel that the DeKalb Park District did a survey of residents and what they felt was a pressing need from the DeKalb Park District. This was about 6 years ago, and there are two things that came up at the top of that list. One of them was the pool, which we have been talking about plenty during the past few minutes and during the past few years. And I'm all in favor of it. I don't disagree with anybody here. If you ask me, I would like it indoors and all that stuff. Of course, we're not going to go that far in all of those details, but we need to make an investment consistent with the question of what we want for the future generations. But the second thing that came up, and we haven't talked about, is bike paths. We have bike paths all over the city of DeKalb that the DeKalb Park District owns. It's about time that we make some investments in keeping those up as well. So thank you very much.
All right, great, thank you very much. All right, candidates, we'll now start with Chris, and the question is, does the Park District have a role in promoting social equity and inclusion in the city of DeKalb?
Yeah, I believe that the Park District definitely has an obligation for social equity with the people of DeKalb. We want to make sure that all of the programs we offer here are accessible and affordable to everyone in the community. It would be part of my plan to make sure that we are inclusive to anyone and everyone that's wanting to become a Park District member or just to join a program that we have to offer. You know, there's definitely some areas that we can improve upon. I know the south side of town has definitely had its impact, at least financially, and I would look into at least trying to be a little bit more inclusive in some pocket areas that I do believe the Park District could benefit from.
All right, very good. Brian.
Yes, I think it is important for the district to work on social and equitable solutions for the community. I think they've already done that with some of the parks they put in over by University Village and some of the facilities they've done there. And, you know, as someone who has coached a lot of different teams for my son and his friends, the park district has done a nice job of including everybody in the community, whether they were able to afford the fees or not, and make it available to all students in those situations.
All right, thank you. Michael, does the Park District have a role to play in promoting social equity and inclusion in the city of DeKalb?
So I believe the answer is yes. Excuse me. I think parks are meant for everyone. It's meant to enjoy the outdoors and be active, and that shouldn't be restricted based on any type of socioeconomic status or whatnot. If people want to use them, they should be able to, and we need to make sure that we allow that to occur. We don't want people restricted from using our parks because of any reason, really. They should be able to use them and the resources we have available whenever they can.
Okay, good, thank you. David.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, and a great question for which probably everybody's going to say yes. I think the more difficult question is how. How do we promote equity in from the park district perspective? Another candidate brought a very good example, and that is the investment that the park district did in Welch Park, which is next door to University Village. The basketball courts there are great. Another thing that was invested right there is actually a pretty brand new pickleball court, two of them. And one of the things that has done is to bring people from outside of University Village into that park. That's the kind of investment we have to do, where we bring together people from different socioeconomic status. All you need to do is to go to the Hopkins Park pool in the middle of the summer on a hot day. You're going to find everything in there. Another good example where we can do a future investment is the pickleball courts that are right there by Hopkins Park pool. Pretty bad shape, and that will be very inclusive of our older generations as well.
All right, thank you. And Donna, does the Park District have a role in promoting social equity and inclusion?
Well, I think right now we're doing a very good job of it, in that we have golf courses for all ages. We have the swimming pool, we have the Hopkins Park, we have many local park areas. We have ball fields, we have the recreation center. It seems to me that we have something for about every age group there is. And I'm sure it's open to everybody equally. So I think we need to continue that.
All right, thank you. All right, next question, we'll start with you, Brian. What do you see as the role of the community input on Park District priorities, and how would you manage that role as a member on the board? So seeking input from the community.
As a member of the board, I'm open to community members reaching out and providing information to me or asking me questions, and I'll work towards getting them answers as best I can. If there are situations where they want to say vent their displeasure about something, I'll make sure that they've talked to the proper people within the district before coming to myself. As a board member, I'm only one voter of 5. Whatever the board decides, I am part of that, and it's no longer, well, I voted no or I voted yes. So I think it's important for the community to have a voice. I know the Park District has run many surveys and forums to get community input, and I would hope that they would continue to do that.
All right, thank you. Michael, role of the community input into Park District priorities.
So the Park District runs with tax money, and we're an elected position here. So, oh, sorry. So obviously,
Michael
would like just, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm in a weird situation. All right, can you hear me now?
We can. Role of the community in Park District priorities.
Right. So sorry. again, what I was saying was we are elected, we're paid by tax money. It's important that we listen to the community and increase their engagement and how they communicate with us, always listening, make the parks as best as we can for them should be our goal.
All right, good, thank you. All right, David?
Yeah, this is again a good question, and echoing another candidate's comments. The surveys is one way of doing it. I realize that we are in survey fatigue these days, and response rates are sometimes significantly lower than what they should be or what we want. But it's probably one of the most effective things to do. Reach out to the community with surveys, with questions about what they want. I just mentioned a minute ago that about 6 years ago, we did, the Park District did a survey of the community to see what they wanted. 6 years is a long time. It would be nice to have a system to recreate and refresh those surveys. The second part about this service is that we have to move, we have to be a little bit more active in going to the place where people are and ask these questions. We need to go to University Village. We need to go to the YMCA. We need to go to the south side of town and asking this very important questions about what the community wants. And we have to have our ears open to what they say. We may be surprised.
Great, thank you. Donna, role of the community input on Park District priorities.
Well, I think as elected officials, we are representing the people, and we have an obligation to talk to the people and hear them and see what their concerns are. And I, for one, know one of the big concerns is property tax. And everybody wants to control property tax because it is getting to be a problem. But there are other issues too. Surveys are nice, but in my experience with the city, a lot of times with surveys, you don't get a good result if the people don't know what we're dealing with as a board as far as costs and income and revenue. So yes, surveys for specific needs on certain occasions, but not as an everyday tool.
Right, thank you. And Chris?
Yeah, the role of the input of the community is definitely an important one, I think, as everyone would agree. How you would try to manage that, because we are such a large community. I mean, we are up and growing. You want to make sure that you have every different avenue to have people be able to reach out to not only board members, but staff at the Park District as well. Being able to voice their concerns easily, whether it be via internet or something that they're writing in at a survey or something that we're simply just asking them. These are all different things that we could do a little bit better. I think the online presence of how we communicate with our the people of DeKalb could be done a little bit better, just because that's the direction that we're going as a country. More digitized, and we need to be on that forefront.
All right, great. Well, candidates, it's 25 after, so that's an awfully fast lightning round. And so now we'll go to closing statements. We'll do it in reverse order. So Michael, 1 minute closing statement.
Well, thank you again for the opportunity to speak, and it was nice to meet the other candidates as well. Again, my name's Michael Zazada. People call me Cornbread. And yeah, I look forward to seeing where DeKalb goes with the Park District and what we have going forward in the future. So April 4th or 6th, whatever date that is, it's one of those 2 dates I know. Make sure you go out and vote, and thanks.
Thank you. Brian, 1 minute closing statement.
Well, first, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters and WNIJ for hosting this for us. I mean, obviously, none of us made it to the ballot, and we're all write-in candidates. This is one of the few options we have for getting our name out there. I look forward to seeing the results on the 4th. I know it'll take a few weeks after the election before they become official. I think you have some great candidates for the park board here, and if you're so inclined and choose to vote for me, vote for Brian Tobin. Please spell my name correctly and fill in the circle.
Great, thank you, Brian. Chris, 1 minute closing statement.
Yeah, I also want to thank the League of Women Voters, WNIJ, and I do want to thank all the other candidates for participating. I do know that this is an interesting process for all of us. I do see myself as a young member of the community that will be able to give a different perspective on what the residents of DeKalb think. I'm dedicated to make this place the best for our community and beyond. Why the Park District? It's because I strongly believe that the work that the people do, and I want to be part of something so that I can help. I grew up in the Park District. I've always enjoyed what it stands for and hopes to achieve. Again, I want to thank everybody and make sure you're writing in Chris Newquist on the ballot. And I do appreciate everybody's time tonight. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Chris. Donna, 1 minute closing.
I want to echo those thank yous to the League and WNIJ, and especially to Mary for being kind enough to help set this up for me, to help me Zoom, since I haven't had a need for that in my life. I just want to close by saying I've lived in my Tilton Park home for over 40 years. I'm very concerned about property taxes, but I know we have to be careful how we spend the money that we have and put it to the best use. I definitely support park facilities for all age groups, but especially for children. I think it's very important for children to have that social time and activity. And I hope the people in DeKalb will give me a chance to represent them on the park board. Just vote for me, Donna Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you. And David, 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams. I really want to echo the support here by Northern Public Radio and League of Women Voters. I wonder if the audience remembers or knows that League of Women Voters is over 100 years old organization. It is with this kind of organizations that these things are, come together. And I'm, again, big thank you to both of these organizations for helping us put in the name out. I just want to remind the audience, the time that we have put into this community, many of these candidates and I as well, is basically what put us in this spot. This is exactly where we want to be. We want to put ourselves out there to help. I want to remind what the DeKalb Park District can do. There's that music at the mansion in front of the Elwood House that I'm sure many of you have seen it. That is a DeKalb Park District event. This DeKalb Park District can do good things. I want to be part of that. Thank you very much. My name is David Castro.
Thank you, David. Well, our time's up for this forum. Your participation as a candidate and as a voter is essential for preserving our freedom and our country. For more information, please visit the nonpartisan website, illinoisvoterguide.org, illinoisvoterguide.org, where the recording of this forum will be posted on each of the candidates' page. And remember to vote on or before April 4th. We thank the candidates, the Voter Service Committee, and thank you to NIJ for organizing this forum. Good night.